Hey everybody, this is SWChris. I am from SW City, and today we're driving. But I have my new handheld, not my handheld thing, my phone mount thing. So bought one of those, and it's sitting in my wheel well. Don't worry, I can still see the speedometer. We're fine, and we're doing all fine here. Just got back from seeing Spider-Man 2, so I'm driving home, giving you my review. Think I'm going to spoil it, so if you haven't seen it, press pause now, bookmark this video, and watch it later. Let me just make sure we are turning correctly. So, Spider-Man 2, what did I think of it? I think out of 5 stars, I would give it 3.5, somewhere around there. Just for the spoiler-free part right now, I thought it had some pacing issues. It went along, it went pretty long, and there were a couple of climaxes that probably should have been compressed together with some more script help, you know. So it needed some more work in the scripting stage, I think. There were, let's see, let's get into the spoilers, I suppose. Let's make sure the police sirens are not anywhere around here. They're not. So there were 3 villains. There was the Hobgoblin, or the one of those. There was the Rhino, and then there was Electro. And I'm not a fan of the comics, haven't read them, so I don't really know how they fit in that universe. Oh, lovely. Okay, I just saw an ambulance in my rearview mirror, but it turned, like I'm doing right now. So, the 3 villains each had their own climax, sort of. Actually, there were really only 2 villains that had climaxes and really were any part of the story, and that was the Hobgoblin, Harry Osborn, and Electro, which in this this universe is his real name is Max. And it surprised me that Max was unstable mentally and quite insane, and that you usually don't find that, I guess. It was just strange. It just kind of sounded off when they introduced him as kind of a nut job. Because he looked like a normal person just carrying a ton of blueprints when Spider-Man rescued him. But then the next scene he's in, he's got one of those creeper walls full of Spider-Man sightings and things like that. And holy crap, that was like, I guess we're supposed to go with this. I think the chemistry between Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker was very good. That was actually one of the enjoyable parts of the movies, although he definitely did a lot of teenager angsty stuff about her and their relationship and all that stuff. They probably pounded it into the ground a little too much. I think they could have halved the scenes that they had together, and it still would have been just as moving. Because it just, you know, it was kind of an on-again, off-again thing, and they probably could have simplified that character arc for both of them. It would have been fine, especially since it built on the last movie. Let's see, what else? The next part. The Harry Osborn thing. Now, his kind of descent into insanity was a lot more, it was handled better, I think. Because he wasn't just suddenly insane all of a sudden. Because he had this sort of, how you would say, life-threatening genetic illness that his father was suffering from. The father-son scene was really kind of on the nose, but his motivations and his reactions stemming from it were completely understandable. Although the murdering spree thing he does at the end of the movie, you can tell he's lost it. He's just totally gone off the deep end, and but sometimes people do that. I mean, sometimes people are sociopaths, and well, although he didn't really strike me as much of a sociopath, because I got a guy passing me, driving slow, I think. He didn't strike me as much of a sociopath because he was just kind of driven by his kind of hatred of his father and the grief he had over losing him, and just kind of this irrational fear of death. Well, maybe not irrational. It's kind of, it kind of depends on where you've come from. And so, it was just, I just kind of enjoyed that part of it for the most part. If you can get on the roller coaster, it's pretty easy to stay on it. It's just the movie asks you to make some big leaps. The one thing that probably really could have improved the pacing is the two climaxes should have been condensed into one. And that's a problem a lot of the films with more than two villains have, is how do you wrap things up in a satisfying manner? Because dramatically you have the kind of the roller coaster arcs, and when you get to the very end climax, you want that to just come to an end as close to the end of the film as possible, and this film didn't do that, and worse, it had two of them. So the Electro climax, Spider-Man beats Electro first, then we have a moment for the audience to calm down, then the Hobgoblin comes in, and Gwen, this is a spoilersode, so Gwen gets killed. And, the Hobgoblin is knocked out cold, but that's a good 10, 15 minutes after the Electro thing happened, So, condense it, guys. I mean, I think that's one thing that the film could have benefited from. And then Spider-Man, and this felt tacked on, because the film should have been over with. Spider-Man spent 10 more minutes moping around, mourning for Stacy, and understandably so, but the film was not structured for this. If Stacy was going to die, the film should have been Stacy dying maybe halfway through, and that being one of Spider-Man's failure arcs, because Spider-Man goes through, your hero is supposed to go through 2 or 3 fail arcs before he succeeds. And then the success, the end of the film, should have been him getting over that and facing his fears and putting on Spider-Man again. But I think they were kind of spooked from Spider-Man 3 when that Peter Parker, the original Spider-Man 3, when that Peter Parker did not spend enough time in the suit. So they wanted to have Spider-Man in the suit throughout the whole movie, and as a result, his character arc ended very abruptly, and the audience did not get enough time to process that. But the end scene where he faces down the Rhino, that last scene, before he shows up, it's just insanely moving. Especially for somebody who's been through the crap I have. You have a little kid, and wow, I'm kind of tearing up thinking about it, because I guess it's really kind of a traumatic thing. You have a little kid, and he's in a Spider-Man costume, and he's a kid that Spider-Man kind of saved in the first part of the film, I guess. And he goes out there and he faces down the Rhino because Spider-Man's not there, and he's terrified. And this actually really kind of mirrors Electro's arc, Max's arc, because you have a healthy fandom. This is a healthy kid. He has a healthy fandom, fanaticism for Spider-Man. Max did not have a healthy fanaticism. And so you have this kid transcending his fear of the bad guy. You know, I mean, one of the earlier scenes, and I'm home, but I'm going to stay in the car for a little bit. One of the earlier scenes is the kid getting beat up by bullies, you know, getting a science project torn apart. And Spider-Man jumps in and kind of intervenes. I kind of wish they would do a little bit more for the bullied kids, you know, have Spider-Man talk to him. But, you know, as far as giving power to kids who are, you know, hurt by that kind of thing, it really, I mean, it was a really positive sort of message. But, you know, I would kind of like to see, if there's one thing I would have changed about the movie, it would not have been the script changes. It would have been, you know, Spider-Man confronting those bullies and doing something to redeem those kids too, you know. But this kid at the end, just he kind of reminds me of me. I don't think I ever had a moment where I had to face down those guys. You know, in high school I just ducked and covered, and then it went away eventually. I didn't have a crisis moment where I had to face down my own rhino, and that's probably still coming. Anyway, yeah, I think that scene alone makes the movie worth it. If you're looking for comic book adventure, it's got that in spades. Even the campiness part. The pacing issues are definitely off, but you know, I think it's worth sitting on my Blu-ray shelf, and I don't say that lightly, just because of the message it imparts for kids. You know, that's it. That's the reason right there. And I've got the original Spider-Man because I thought it was a good adventure flick. I think the first movie is better than this one, but I think this is still a worthy kind of contender for the Spider-Man franchise. Worthy. It earned its spot. Let's just say, despite its flaws, it earned its spot. So that's why I'm giving it 3.5 stars. And definitely go see it, especially if you're a kid who's you know, gone through some of the stuff that kid in the movie does, and you know, the stuff that I have, which I don't know, I guess I need to tell you guys about that sometime, but this is not the video for that. So let me know what you think of the film in the comments. If you like the vlog, please subscribe, of course, and hopefully we get to do more of this heart-to-heart stuff. So I'm going to go inside. I have a Virtual Boy vlog to edit. I still haven't gotten that one done. So I'll catch you later. Auf Wiedersehen. Arrivederci. Hasta la vista. Goodbye.